In recent years, the Middle East has experienced cycles of tension shaped by long-standing rivalries, strategic deterrence, and complex security dynamics. Among the most closely watched relationships is the confrontation between Iran and Israel, two states whose strategic interests frequently collide across multiple domains, including military capability, regional alliances, and technological development. In this environment, moments of direct escalation attract global attention because their consequences extend far beyond the immediate region. The recent exchange involving ballistic missile attacks directed toward the Israeli metropolitan area of Tel Aviv illustrates how rapidly geopolitical tensions can translate into real-world security challenges affecting civilian populations. Infrastructure and regional stability. Tel Aviv is widely recognized as Israel's economic and technological center. It hosts major financial institutions, international technology companies, research facilities, and one of the country's most densely populated urban corridors. Under normal circumstances, the city is known for its vibrant nightlife, coastal skyline, and constant flow of business activity. Yet during periods of military escalation, the same city can transform into a landscape defined by emergency preparedness and heightened alert. Reports from open-source footage and international media describe nights in which the skyline is briefly illuminated not by commercial lights or cultural events, but by the intercepts of defensive missile systems responding to incoming threats. The shift from ordinary urban life to emergency conditions highlights the strategic implications of modern missile warfare. Ballistic missile technology allows attacks to travel long distances in relatively short periods of time, leaving limited reaction windows for defensive systems and civilians alike. In Tel Aviv, when air raid sirens activate, residents often have approximately 1 minute to reach a protected space, such as a reinforced bunker or designated shelter. This narrow window illustrates the human dimension of strategic competition. Parents gather their children, residents leave apartments or public areas, and entire neighborhoods pause their daily routines to seek protection. The psychological effect of such repeated alerts can be profound, shaping how societies experience prolonged periods of uncertainty. Israel has invested heavily in layered air defense systems designed to intercept incoming threats. Systems such as missile interceptors and radar networks are intended to detect and neutralize projectiles before they reach populated areas. In many instances, these systems have succeeded in preventing large-scale damage. However, no defensive network is considered perfect. Reports from several incidents indicate that a limited number of missiles were able to penetrate defensive coverage and impact urban areas. When such events occur, the results can include powerful shockwaves, structural damage to nearby buildings, and disruptions to essential infrastructure. Open-source footage and field reports describe visible physical damage in certain neighborhoods following these impacts. Apartment complexes have reportedly experienced cracked walls, shattered windows, and partially collapsed balconies. Vehicles parked on nearby streets have been damaged by debris and blast pressure. In some cases, authorities have ordered entire buildings or residential blocks to be evacuated after engineers determined that the structures were no longer safe for occupancy. While emergency services often respond rapidly, these incidents demonstrate how even a small number of successful strikes can disrupt the daily lives of thousands of residents. Beyond the immediate physical damage, the broader social environment of the city changes dramatically during periods of sustained alert. Schools and universities may suspend in-person classes as a precautionary measure. Offices transition to remote operations or temporary closures. Public transportation schedules are adjusted, and airports sometimes suspend flights to reduce risk during active threat periods. Streets that are usually crowded with commuters and tourists can appear unusually quiet as people remain indoors or move cautiously through the city. This transformation of urban life illustrates how modern conflicts extend beyond traditional battlefields. Cities that function as economic engines can suddenly operate under emergency protocols. For a global audience, this raises important strategic questions. How resilient are major urban centers when exposed to repeated missile threats? What level of defensive capability is required to maintain stability in densely populated regions? And how do governments balance national security priorities with the protection of civilian life? Some residents of Tel Aviv have reportedly chosen to temporarily relocate during periods of heightened risk. Families whose homes sustain structural damage may seek shelter with relatives in other cities or stay in hotels located farther from potential target zones. Others relocate as a precaution, particularly families with young children or elderly relatives who may struggle to reach shelters quickly during sirens. This movement of civilians reflects a broader pattern seen in many modern conflicts, where temporary displacement becomes part of the societal response to ongoing security threats. From a strategic perspective, missile exchanges between states represent a significant escalation compared to proxy conflicts or limited skirmishes. Ballistic missiles are often seen as tools of deterrence and signaling. Their use sends a message about capability and willingness to respond under pressure. However, such actions also increase the risk of miscalculation. When missiles are launched toward densely populated areas, even defensive intercepts can produce debris and shockwaves that pose risks on the ground. In this environment, the difference between strategic signaling and uncontrolled escalation can become dangerously narrow. The broader regional implications are equally important. The Middle East sits at the intersection of global energy routes, trade corridors, and major geopolitical interests. Escalations involving large states such as Iran and Israel can influence the calculations of other regional actors and external powers. Governments across the region monitor these developments closely, aware that a widening conflict could disrupt economic stability and maritime security. International markets often respond quickly to such tensions, particularly when shipping routes or energy infrastructure appear vulnerable. Another critical factor is the technological evolution of both offensive and defensive systems. Advances in missile guidance, interception technology, and early warning systems continue to reshape how states manage security threats. Analysts often debate whether defensive innovations can keep pace with increasingly sophisticated offensive capabilities. If more advanced missiles are developed in the future, will current defense systems remain effective? Or will states need entirely new layers of protection to safeguard urban populations? Diplomatic channels also play a role during such crises, even when tensions appear high. Regional governments and international organizations often engage in quiet communication aimed at preventing further escalation. The presence of multiple external actors with interests in the region adds another layer of complexity. Strategic restraint may emerge not only from military calculations but also from economic and political considerations. A large-scale conflict would carry costs that extend well beyond national borders. From a human perspective, the transformation of Tel Aviv during missile alerts demonstrates how quickly everyday life can shift under the pressure of geopolitical confrontation. A city known for innovation and cultural vitality becomes a place where residents monitor warning systems, plan evacuation routes, and remain constantly aware of potential threats. Yet the city continues to function in limited ways, reflecting the resilience of urban communities even in difficult circumstances. Understanding these events requires careful analysis rather than emotional reaction. Missile exchanges, air defense responses, and emergency protocols are all components of a broader strategic environment shaped by decades of rivalry and security planning. Observing how these systems operate in real-world conditions provides insight into the strengths and limitations of modern defense strategies. In closing, the situation surrounding Tel Aviv during recent missile attacks offers a window into the complex intersection of technology, security policy, and civilian life in the modern era. The city remains standing, but its rhythms have changed under the shadow of ongoing uncertainty. For observers around the world, the lesson is not simply about one location or one conflict. It is about understanding how geopolitical tensions translate into lived experiences for ordinary people, and how states attempt to manage risks in an increasingly interconnected and technologically advanced security landscape. Maintaining a balanced perspective is essential when examining events of this scale. By relying on open-source information, verified reporting, and thoughtful analysis, it becomes possible to understand the broader implications without promoting alarm or assigning blame. The future trajectory of tensions between Iran and Israel remains uncertain, but the developments witnessed in Tel Aviv illustrate how closely strategic decisions and civilian realities are connected in today's global security environment.